Hello and welcome to Ho 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 Green Dragon. I'm Rob Olander Crane, and today's episode is a very special one. It's going to be a little bit longer than most of my episodes. It's all about how to set up the tiles at the beginning of the game. Now, when I teach and when I watch new players play, the setup is often the hardest thing they need to learn and to do. So let's take a little bit of time and walk through how to properly set up a Chinese Mahjong game so you can do it and do it fast and efficiently. So, the very first thing that happens, I've already done. The players have finished mixing the tiles, and they have taken 2 rows of 18 and placed them in stacks in front of their rack. So this is a total of 36 tiles, 2 rows of 18 right up against the rack. But if you look right now, you've got one rack over here, or one wall over here, one wall over here, one wall over here, and one wall over here. You've got 4 disparate walls. It's hard to know where to start the game and where to end. So the first thing we want to do after we've set up the walls is to push the tiles forward toward the center of the table. And my recommendation is you place your right finger on the right side of your tiles, pushing the tiles up against the little clip over here on the left as you move them forward. It's just neater and cleaner. The tiles won't go all over the place. I'll move this one next, and this one. And then you can't see it, but the wall across from me. Oh, there it is. You can see just the beginning of it. So now we've got one continuous wall. I like to call this the Great Wall of China, but one continuous wall. Then the players take their rack and pull them halfway back, just like this, halfway back, so that there's some room between the tiles and the rack. It makes it easier to actually pick the tiles up if the rack isn't up against the tiles, and some room between the rack and the edge of the table, because this is where you're going to put your tiles as they are dealt to you. Okay, so we're getting there. The next thing that happens is that we have to determine where in this one continuous wall the game is going to start. And therefore, where's the game going to end? So let's pretend that this seat here, this red rack over here, this is the east seat. The east player, the dealer, is going to take the dice and roll them once. They rolled a 10. We're determining which wall we're breaking right now. Not where in the wall, which of the 4 walls. So this east player is going to count, starting with themselves, till they get to 10, counterclockwise. They're counting racks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Happens to land on my rack. They are still the dealer. They will start the game, but we were breaking my wall because the summation, the 10 on the dice, landed here counterclockwise. So once again, they start with themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The person whose seat we land on, whose rack we land on, takes the dice and rolls them again. We're going to take 10, that first roll, and add them to whatever I get. I got 4. So 10 and 4 is 14. Now on my rack, starting on the right side, because everything goes right to left in Chinese Mahjong, it's an Eastern orientation, right to left, we're going to count 14 stacks. We're not going to pick them up. We're going to count 14 stacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 stacks right to left. And then I'm going to pick that 14th stack up, both tiles, and I'm going to put them on the 13th stack. We now know the wall ends here. And actually the wall begins right here. If you follow the wall all the way around, this is the beginning, this is the end. But there's one more thing we need to do. We need to isolate 16 tiles for the supplemental wall, the Kong box, whichever term you use to describe the tiles that are used to replace flowers, or if you use the word luckies, to replace luckies, and to replace Kongs. We do that by counting 7 stacks, starting with this double stack right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we've counted 7 stacks, we want to isolate those 7. So we just simply slide them over a little bit. So now there's a break here between the beginning of the wall and the end of the wall, and here between the supplemental tiles and the real end of the wall, because if you get to this last tile right here and no one's won, the game is over. Nobody gets points, nobody gets a Mahjong. So this is technically the end of the wall. This is the beginning of the wall, and these are the supplemental tiles. Now, the dealer is still sitting in this seat. All my responsibility was to break the wall. So now everything goes back to the dealer. The dealer does two things. First, they take these dice that are sitting in front of everybody and they place them to their right, which would be over here. The dealer's here. If the dealer wins, they deal again. So the dice are right there next to them. If they lose, the person who's currently in the south seat, which is me, is the next dealer. I become the next east because the deal moves to me and now I'm east. So you place it between the two people who could possibly need the dice for the next game. It's important to know where these dice are because when you need to know who's in the east seat, who's in the west, who's in the north, who's in the south, for scoring purposes and for which tiles you're going to collect, putting the dice right here every time, meaning to the right of the dealer, helps everyone know who's east. Because sometimes you're in the middle of the game and you forget. Okay, the last thing we need to do is to now deal out the tiles. And we do it efficiently in groups of 4. The first person to get their tiles is always the dealer. Even though I broke the wall, it's always the dealer. And they start with these tiles here at the beginning. Remember, this is the end. This is the beginning. So they take their 4 tiles and they place them in between the rack and the edge of the table. They don't look at them. They just place them, boom, right here, just like that. And we keep going. This should go quickly, right? This should go really fast until everybody's got their tiles. So I'm gonna keep dealing out here. Boom, boom, boom. Now everybody has, how many? Everybody now has 12 tiles, but we need more. The dealer needs 14 and everybody else needs 13. And here's something really cool. I'm gonna push this wall out so you can actually see this. Just to be efficient, the dealer's gonna take their 13th tile and at the same time take their 14th tile, because if everybody else took their tiles, this would be their 14th tile. So the first and third tile is the dealer's 13th and 14th tile. They grab them, I grab my next tile, they grab their next tile, they grab their next tile, and everything's done. And we can start the game. You'll notice that the seat across from me had already pushed their wall out, but if they hadn't done that at this point, they'll want to push their wall out before they start setting up their tiles. And now it's time to set up the tiles. That's the setup. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you'll watch it a couple times so it becomes rote and you can do it without thinking, because this part should go quickly. I'm Rob Lander Crane. This was a special edition of Ho 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 Green Dragon. I hope you stuck with me till the end. We'll see you next week.